Hello everyone, Orpington's top model here. Oops, no, sorry, Nan here. Lovely to talk to you again. Today I'm going to tell you a little light fluffy story. So, this story is called My Inheritance. Now, I inherited a rather unfortunate nose from my mother, although a slightly smaller version than hers was. I've always thought of my mother as ugly beautiful. She had the most amazing green eyes, and when she was a bit cross with me usually, they turned to a deep yellowy colour. Amazing, really. She had a full, lovely mouth, but her nose, what a nose. When you're going through puberty, your features, of course, most of us start changing, and my nose started to develop, and I grew a little bump on it first, and then it grew a little bit more pointy. Not quite as long as Pinocchio's, I hasten to add. But at assembly one morning, the girl next to me whispered to me, "You look like a rat." What? I look like a rat? Do you know that's never left me all these years later? And the damage that one little sentence did, because from then on I became obsessive about my nose. I mean, I was the most unattractive child with large features and nondescript mousy hair anyway. Anyway, I was lucky to get a Saturday job in a hairdresser's, and I started by sweeping up hair cuttings and then graduated on to washing people's hair. And in those days, the customers that had their hair set, it was set on metal curlers and they were put under a great big dome of a hairdryer, which was very hot. And when they came out, their hair would be dry and baked and quite hard. And what you did was you got a little tiny phial of brilliantine, no hair products in those days, my dears, and you put a spot on your hand, you rubbed your hands together, and you carefully smoothed it over the customer's dry, baked hair. Then you combed it through and she had glossy, shiny locks. So that's what I did. Too much brilliantine. This poor lady, her hair was thick grease. So the hairdresser had to start again and wash it all again. I was never allowed to do that anymore. I don't know why. Anyway, on my 15th birthday, this lovely hairdresser, she cut and permed my hair in the latest style, which was called the poodle cut. And a little bit of the new Mary peeped through from then. Well, during the next few years, still with this obsession about my nose, I did silly things like when you go somewhere by bus and you get off the bus, there are these long seats as you get off facing inwards. And I would turn my head to the side so these strangers wouldn't see my profile. And then when I was 19, I had a really nice job, a prestigious job in a stockbroker's. And if the firm did well, you got a bonus. And one year when I was 19, the bonus was so good, I could have bought one of the brand new Minis that came out. But I didn't. And do you know why? Because if I had driving lessons, I would have to sit next to a driving instructor. Sideways on, he would see my profile there. Now, many of you may understand how I felt about this, and many of you won't. You'll think, oh, how stupid. But I did. I felt, I can't let anybody see my profile. Never had a photograph taken side view, ever. Of course, now I wish I had one, because I've got the record of my nose. Anyway, I didn't dwell on it all the time. It was just occasionally. Like when I was married a stockbroker called Len, and I had 2 beautiful children. We lived in a lovely home. We had a great social life. We used to go to parties and dinner dances. Anyway, I had to ring up the shop locally and ask them if my wallpaper was in. And the chap said to me, "Oh, is that sharp featured lady?" "Yes, just been sharpening my nose on the knife block." Anyway, that stayed with me too. And when I used to get ready to go to these dinner dances and lovely evenings out, I used to put on a beautiful frock, my hair would be just so, and then I would check in a long mirror to see how the back of me looked. And of course, as I looked, I'd catch sight of my profile, and I'd just feel that little teeny bit down, like, instead of thinking, wow, you look great, could look a little bit better. So as I got better with my personality and I could make people laugh, gone were the days when I was a teenager and I had to have the pretty girl's choice of boyfriend, his friend. I never got the good-looking boy. Well, it did at the end because my personality started coming through when I was about 17, and one day I did get the best looking boy. Anyway, I digress. So it bothered me occasionally, and then on my 30th birthday, joy of joys, my husband, as a present, gave me a nose job. Well, it's not like today where everyone just goes and have their bits and bobs moved around when they feel like it. Those days it was very rare, and I went to a Harley Street specialist who warned me I would not look like Elizabeth Taylor. Shame, why not? And I wouldn't have a teeny weeny nose. I would have a nose that suited my face. So he was a very good surgeon, and the hospital was East Grinstead Hospital, where Cilla Black had her operation done. So that was a really good recommendation as far as I was concerned. So I went into the hospital, and the night before the operation I thought, I've had this nose for 30 years. What if, when I've got the new nose, I hate it even more. Supposing this surgeon's like a hairdresser, you know, the ones that can't stop cutting your hair, cut away, cut away. And he got carried away, and I ended up with 2 holes in my face instead of a nose. Anyway, didn't stop me. I went ahead with the operation. At this point, I must tell you, no pain, not for me. A lot of discomfort because your nose is bunged up with lint. You've got a white plaster of Paris cast across the top of your nose. Both your eyes are swollen and red and black and blue. You look like one of those little pigs that are served up with an apple in its mouth on the dining room table. Well, not in my house, but in banqueting halls. And a week later, I had the plaster cast taken off, and the surgeon discreetly left the room, leaving me with a little hand mirror. And I looked at my new nose, a little bit disappointed at first because it was still swollen, and of course quite pink where it had been covered up. But I thought, well, give it a chance. He said 6 months for the swelling to go down completely. I can wait. So there I was with my new nose. Later, actually, I love my new nose. I'm really, really pleased with it. It's quite nice, isn't it? So after all that, I saw different friends, and I think I expected reactions like, oh my God, you look like a film star. How very beautiful you are. But in reality, I ended up having to ask, and I had to say things like, do you notice anything different about me? And they would go, no. And I would have to tell them that I've had my nose done, and they would look surprised. They didn't notice anything, and do you know why? Because my nose wasn't important to them. I was. My profile didn't stand out to them because they saw the whole person, me. I'm not sorry I had it done because it gave me a chance to say goodbye to my insecurities and helped me to have the confidence that I have today. Perhaps a little bit too much confidence, some people say. Anyway, that's a dear little story, isn't it? So I'll see you next time. And on the end of this video, you're going to see another of my friends over 70 who's going to tell you something surprising that happened in her life. Her name's Elaine. So goodbye for now. See you soon. Love, Nan.
Hi, my name is Elaine. I'm 70 years old. In the 1972, when I did my training at Greenwich Hospital, and when we did night duty, I was accidentally locked in my room by the cleaner. So in desperation, I climbed out onto a narrow ledge as I saw my neighbour's windows open, and that's how I managed to escape. And I just had visions of a plunge into my death and the headline saying, "Nurse commits suicide over low pay."